No bucks, no fucks.
Thank you.
We are also following a developing story out of Miramar. We just learned a woman who was involved in a shooting inside a Lamborghini early yesterday morning has died. 2 men who were also shot remain in the hospital.
A green Lamborghini moves through a quiet Miramar street just after 5 in the morning. A white sedan pulls up beside it. Gunfire rips through the driver's side window, fast, round after round, before the SUV runs a stop sign but can't stay on the road, crashing straight into the front of a house. 3 people are inside that car. Only one of them won't make it to see the sun come up. Her name was Brianna Johnson. Most of the world never heard that name, but a lot of them knew her page. Online, she went by DreamDoll Bri. This channel exists for stories that deserve more than a headline. This is one of them. Stay with me. You're watching Crime Pattern. Before she was a headline, Brianna was a hairstylist, building her page one video at a time. Content that felt easy to watch, funny, warm, a little bold. She had close to 400,000 people following her on TikTok, another 85,000 on Instagram, but the numbers only tell part of it. Her song became the sound behind a viral dance trend, the kind that takes over feeds for weeks. So for a moment this past spring, it felt like Brianna Johnson was everywhere. People who barely knew her name were still moving to her sound in their own living rooms, never once wondering who made it. Friends describe her differently than fans do. They talk about her showing up when someone needed her, sitting with a friend through a bad week, remembering small details about people's lives that most people forget. One fellow stylist said working alongside her felt less like a job, more like being handed confidence you didn't know you were missing. That's the version of Brianna that rarely made it into a caption, the version her family is grieving right now while asking, at the same time, for privacy they may never fully get. That matters here, because before we walk through the timeline, it's worth sitting with the fact that this wasn't just an influencer, a username, a face people scrolled past between other videos. This was someone's daughter, someone's friend, a young woman still building the life she wanted, still posting, still working, still 21 years old with what should have been decades ahead of her. So let's walk through what actually happened, because the pieces don't fit together cleanly. That's part of what makes this case so unsettling. It was the 4th of July weekend. Brianna spent part of the night at a party, a big one, held at a house rented out for the holiday. The kind of gathering where people show up in waves, drift between rooms, lose track of who came with who. 2 men were with her that night, both friends, both people she trusted enough to be riding with in the early hours of the morning. The party wound down sometime before dawn, but instead of heading straight home, the 3 of them stopped at a Shell gas station. According to people close to Brianna, something happened at that gas station. An argument broke out. Nobody outside that circle has said publicly what the argument was about or who it was directed at, but it's the kind of detail that's easy to skip past, hard to ignore once you know it's there. Because a fight at a gas station in the middle of the night is one thing on its own. A fight at a gas station followed minutes later by a targeted shooting is something else entirely. So the question worth sitting with is simple. Did whatever happened at that gas station follow them out the door? Minutes later, as their Lamborghini moved through the streets of Miramar, a white sedan appeared behind them. Surveillance footage later obtained by local news shows that car trailing the SUV, staying close, patient, almost like it was waiting for the right moment rather than just happening to be heading the same direction. It got that moment at the intersection of Southwest 27th Court and Sunshine Boulevard. The white car pulled up next to the driver's side window. What came next lasted only seconds, but it changed everything. Neighbors woke up to it. One resident said her mother heard the gunfire, thought at first it was fireworks, which makes sense given the holiday, but something about the sound felt off to her, rapid, too close together. Nothing like the scattered pops of leftover 4th of July celebrations. Police later confirmed it wasn't fireworks at all. A shot spotter alert triggered almost instantly, sending officers racing toward the sound. What they found when they arrived was a green Lamborghini that had crashed straight into the front of a home after running through a stop sign, the driver having lost control the moment the bullets started tearing into the vehicle. Think about what that means for a second. The shooter didn't fire once, speed off. Witnesses describe rapid gunfire, round after round, aimed at a moving target from another moving vehicle, at an hour when the streets should have been empty. That's not the profile of a robbery gone wrong or a stray shot. It's the profile of an ambush, planned enough to execute at speed, precise enough to hit all 3 people inside. All 3 people inside had been shot. Paramedics rushed them to Memorial Regional Hospital, working against the clock the way they do in any scene like this one. 2 of the men survived, one in critical condition, the other seriously hurt but stable enough to be expected to recover. Brianna did not survive. She succumbed to her injuries. Just like that, a young woman who spent her final hours dancing, laughing at a holiday party was gone, her last posted video still sitting on her page like nothing had changed. The neighborhood itself was shaken taken in a way residents say they've never experienced. One woman described the block as tight-knit, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, which made waking up to a homicide scene on their own street feel almost impossible to process. A house had bullet damage. A stop sign had been run through at speed. None of it fit the quiet holiday weekend they thought they were having. Online, the reaction was immediate, overwhelming. Thousands of comments poured onto Brianna's TikTok within hours, some from strangers who'd only ever known her through a 15-second video, others from people who clearly knew her personally. Fellow creators in Miami's entertainment scene spoke about her charisma, the specific kind of energy she brought into a room that never quite came across the same way on camera. Fans kept returning to her page, some openly admitting they were checking, again and again, half hoping a new post would appear, prove the whole thing was some kind of mistake. Here's where the case gets complicated. Almost immediately, rumors started spreading online. Friends and fellow stylists who knew Brianna began suggesting that someone close to her may have tipped off the shooters, that her exact location had been leaked the moment she left the party. It's a serious claim, but it's important to say clearly, police have not confirmed this. No one has been named publicly. No one has been arrested in connection with any kind of setup. So while the accusation is circulating widely on social media, right now it remains exactly that, an accusation, not a fact. Repeating it as though it were confirmed would do a disservice to everyone involved, including whoever eventually turns out to be innocent. What we do know, according to police, is that this was a targeted attack rather than a random one. Investigators have said as much directly, which raises the obvious question sitting underneath all of this. If someone wanted Brianna specifically, why? Was it connected to the argument at the gas station? Was it connected to something further back, something that had nothing to do with that night at all? Or was the true target actually one of the two men in the car with her, Brianna simply caught in the wrong seat at the wrong moment? Right now, nobody outside the investigation seems to know for certain. Police say they're still trying to determine whether the shooter followed the group from the gas station, or whether the white sedan had been waiting for them near the party itself. Either way, the ambush was not clumsy. Whoever pulled up next to that Lamborghini seemed to know exactly what they were doing, timing the attack for a moment when there was nowhere for the SUV to go. That kind of precision doesn't happen by accident. So who had the motive, the access, the information to make it happen this cleanly? Investigators have said they have some idea of who they're looking for. A dark-tinted, white sedan, possibly a BMW from around a 4-year-old model range, last seen heading south from the scene. But as of the most recent updates, no arrests have been made. No suspect has been publicly named. The two men who survived the shooting could hold answers, but their conditions, their willingness to speak with investigators, haven't been made public either. What we're left with is a young woman's life ending in the span of a few seconds on a residential street, a car full of holiday laughter turning into a crime scene before the sun was even fully up. Her fans are still posting on her old videos, some writing that they keep hoping this is somehow a mistake, that she'll show up again with a new post like nothing happened. Other creators have spoken about how much energy she brought into every room, how her page felt less like content, more like an open door into her actual personality. Grief online moves fast, therefore so does speculation, but right now the two are tangled together in a way that makes it hard to separate what's confirmed from what's just noise. That tension is exactly why this case deserves careful attention instead of quick conclusions. A woman was murdered in a targeted ambush. Somebody knew where she was going to be. Somebody wanted her dead badly enough to fire multiple rounds into a moving vehicle on a quiet street at 5:30 in the morning. Yet as of now, that person is still out there, unnamed, unidentified, possibly still driving around in the same white sedan investigators are looking for. So here's what we don't know. We don't know if the gas station argument had anything to do with what came next. We don't know if the rumors about someone leaking her location hold any truth, or if they're simply grief looking for somewhere to land. We don't know the full relationship between Brianna and the two men in that car, whether either of them can shed light on who might have wanted this, or why. We don't even know, definitively, whether Brianna was the intended target at all, or whether she was simply in the wrong seat at the wrong time. If you know anything about this case, Broward County Crime Stoppers is offering a reward of up to $5,000 for information. Tips can remain completely anonymous. Somebody out there knows what happened at that gas station. Somebody knows who was driving that white sedan. Somebody, whether they've admitted it to themselves yet or not, holds the answer to why a 21-year-old woman with hundreds of thousands of people watching her life unfold online never made it home from a holiday party. Till one of them comes forward, or until investigators catch a break, Brianna Johnson's death stays exactly where it is right now, unresolved, unanswered, impossible to look away from. If you want to be here the moment this case breaks open, subscribe to Crime Pattern, because stories like this one don't stay quiet for long, but you'll want to be watching when it changes.